We are live. We're live, pal. Hi, gang. Sorry we're late. This time it has nothing to do with Justin. It has to do with me. For those you don't know, Stu Myrick, Justin Simmons, Sports Guys Talking Wrestling, on the horn. We're not, technically we're not preempted this week. We're just going on really late this week because of Longhorn baseball. So we're treating it a little bit like a podcast, but we do have to put together an actual radio show.
You missed out. I had this great intro and everything because Stu had lent me these Macho Man glasses for the show that I did this week. Theme song ready and everything, and this guy's finishing his other interview. Felt kind of bad. But then I was all like, oh, usually like the timing would have been perfect. So
yeah, I was doing so, and huge thanks. Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com does Wrestling Observer Live with Brian Alvarez. Let's see if this is sounding right. Okay, that's the Facebook. Let's check YouTube. We gotta check all these. We're still kind of new to this whole multi-streaming event. There we go. All right, YouTube, and I'm gonna assume Twitch is there. Anyway, so Mike Sempervive and I were talking WrestleMania because I know Vince is paying you to defend it, so
And I know you're looking forward to hearing about it.
Yeah, right.
You have to appreciate that I'm one of the few people that can do it and do it consistently. And like in some cases, sometimes I feel that some of the criticism is over warranted, like legitimately, and that goes for almost all wrestling in general. You know,
it is, but there's some things
because like
some things you expect, and when they don't happen that way, it's just. I
thought you were supposed
to shake your head.
I thought you were supposed to soften with older age. Like I have softened my stance as an ex-worker. And in my age as a wrestling fan, like I
have certain expectations.
Yeah, I used to,
and those expectations aren't being met.
I used to, but now it's different because the game is different. So it's just like I understand.
I know you keep preaching that
the evolution. You know, at one point this wasn't even a body industry. And
that's true.
And then one day it morphed overnight into a body industry.
Yeah, Dak Draper and I had that discussion when I interviewed him from Ring of Honor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we had that discussion about body guys versus non-body guys. So
you have to admit, body guys always still look impressive, and they stand out even more on the indie circuit.
Oh God, yeah.
If you're a body guy, it's like, oh, you only need a headlock and a couple of takedowns, and you should be good because you're the body guy.
That's true. That's true.
If you know how to market yourself right, you can get over quickly.
So let's get going. Let's get this stuff on the road and see what we can come up with. And yes, for those of you watching, I mute during our intros and stuff so that we don't get in trouble with the copyright police. Although I think our first intro we can do. So we can do that one.
It's the mayor of Slamtown, WWE superstar John Morrison, and you're listening to Sports Guys Talking Wrestling.
When they're not covering the sports world, they're talking about the world of professional wrestling.
It's Sports Guys Talking Wrestling.
Now, with Justin Simmons, here's Stu Myrick.
It is Sports Guys Talking Wrestling on the horn. Stu Myrick, Justin the Smash Simmons.
What's going on, Stu?
Well, we have completed another WrestleMania weekend.
I mean, I thought it was a great WrestleMania weekend. I'm not going to lie.
WrestleMania was a good show. The build was horrendous, but the show itself was quite good. It still had its pitfalls, and we'll talk about it. But I would say overall, they did a good job.
I was entertained, and that's what's important.
You were sports entertained, as our friend Simon Miller says.
Oh, I was entertained. It hit all these different notes for me, and don't get me wrong, some of them sour, but others of them
sour,
terrifically on key.
Let me ask you this: Night 1 versus Night 2.
Yeah, Night 1 was excellent.
Yeah.
I mean, Night 1 exceeded my expectations.
Yeah.
And it kind of probably overhyped night 2 for me, which didn't necessarily live up to my expectations at that point because of what night 1 did. But the main event of night 2 totally hit every note for me.
And that's what I was going to ask was it a matter of night 1, first time in over a year, WrestleMania, WWE in front of real fans? Did that have something to do with it, as where night 2, the newness wasn't there?
Not necessarily for me.
Okay.
It was just match quality and placement. I believe in some of the ways that they had laid out night 2.
We're gonna have there'll be a podcast only segment where I talk with Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com, and that's one of the things I brought up to him. The match order night 2 confused me a little.
Yeah.
It's I get opening with Fiend and Orton because you want to get that out of the way. And look, nobody can appreciate getting that out of the way more than me.
See, they hit your note right there.
But it was I expected them to open with maybe Asuka and Rhea Ripley, because night 1 you open with Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre. So and that's what WWE usually does on these big pay-per-views. They'll open with a big match, title match. So, you set the stage right from the shot. But I didn't mind that was the opening match. But the way they did it afterwards, it was kind of like, I would have done it differently. I'm not saying it was horrible. I just wasn't a fan of the match placement.
I'm so excited the way that everything panned out. And I know some people are kind of dogging on Raw from last night or from Monday night, whenever you hear this. But I'm one of those people that just kind of taking it easy on everybody right now, because it was right after a WrestleMania and then going from a live crowd back to the Thunderdome.
Yeah. Raw After Mania in the next segment. Right off the bat, Bobby Lashley